Welcome to the Brew Crew Review Podcast, the show by fans for fans of your Milwaukee Brewers. Hey, welcome back, Brewer fans. Scott and Vince are here with me, joining me for our special annual draft preview. How are you guys doing?
Good, Craig. How are you?
Good.
I'm also doing good.
All right,
Chad?
That's awesome.
Is Chad on tonight?
I think Chad's still scouting some of the college-age kids out there for the draft. I'm not sure if they're male or female, but he did say something about being around co-eds tonight, so I'm not sure. But
maybe he'll be in
time
time for
one. But
maybe he'll be in time for next year's draft preview.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, for anybody who's listening, waiting for Chad to chime in, I could tell you that it will definitely be in one of the next few episodes. So just hang in there.
Really?
Oh. Wow.
Okay. Wow.
That was not
Cool.
from our inside source, Tom Carter, by the way. That was just my speculation. So
Tom's an anonymous source, Scott. He's not just like an inside source.
yeah,
You're supposed to say Tom C. It's Tom C. or T. Carter. We've gone over this so many times, guys. It's like
it doesn't matter now because this wasn't even information from him. This was so. I don't think it matters.
Oh yes,
okay.
he's not our anonymous source this time, so I'm fine.
Oh yeah,
He usually
that's fine.
is,
So
but not this.
Tom Carter. Okay, got it. No problem. Carry on, Craig.
All right, so this year's baseball draft is coming up on Monday, June 3rd and the 4th. It's taking place out in New Jersey. And, yeah, this year, the Brewers...
Wait, where's the draft?
Sorry, what?
Where's the draft being held this year?
In New Jersey.
Oh, wow. Man,
Yeah.
we should have
Why?
really planned a trip around that. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, a little New Jersey road trip.
Yeah.
Why not? But the Brewers, obviously, last year, they came on the cusp of the World Series. And so with that success brings a much lower draft pick than I think fans have been accustomed to for much of the last couple of decades. But that's okay. So the Brewers picked 28th overall in this draft. They did, we'll talk about it later, that they did also trade away their number 39 overall pick, which was a supplemental pick to acquire Alex Claudio. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But for now, we're going to get into my version of a mock draft where guys are expected to go. And then when we get to the Brewers pick at 28, I'll mention who I think the Brewers will take, but then also throw out a bunch of names that might be available and might be of some interest to them in their scouting department. It could be their selection. Just a quick recap. Last year, the Brewers still had a pick in the teens, and they picked shortstop Bryce Trang, who's doing very well in the minor league this year already. So he looks like to be a great pick from last year. So, all right. So this year, I'll fire it away here. I will mention before I start off that I would say that first three guys in the draft I have are kind of a tier amongst themselves, and possibly the next three guys kind of there's a drop off. Then after that, and then the talent is kind of all mingled together. So the Brewers should get someone in that third tier of talent. I believe it's on at 28 even, but there is no elite talent in this draft, so to speak. Well, at least not coming into the draft. You never know what Hall of Famers, of course, will get picked in this draft, but there isn't the slam dunk, number one overall pick types like Bryce Harper or Steven Strasburg or all the Anthony Rendon. I guess I'm mentioning a lot of nationals, but even Carlos Correa was drafted number one overall by the Astros. So those were all, guys that were really slam dunk elite talents. And I would say in this draft, there's not really those guys. But there's some really good...
or Brian Taylor.
That's true. Well, there could be Brian Taylors, yeah. Guys that can play them out, you never know, especially at high school. And those high school pitchers are always risky of blowing out their arms and everything. So what can you do? But there's some really nice college bats, and there's some bloodlines in here we'll talk about. And, yeah, it should be an interesting draft, definitely. And let's get right to it. So the Orioles own, with a historically bad season last year, the number one overall pick. I would project them to take the top talent in this year's draft, and that's Audley Rauschman, a catcher from Oregon State, one of the highest rated catchers, mostly for his bat, so good defensive skills, but really his bat is going to be good, and I think the Orioles are going to go with him. Number 2 overall pick is owned by the Royals. They're going to go with Bobby Witt Jr., of course, the son of Bobby Witt, the shortstop out of Texas High School. And that's my son JJ in the background. I apologize. He's apparently pretending or something. But anyway, yeah, so Bobby Witt Jr. Should go. He actually has probably one of the highest ceilings in the draft. He could even go number 1 overall, of course, the Orioles. So he's a shortstop, and I really like his bat. Number 3 overall for White Sox, I'm going to go with Andrew Vaughn, first baseman from California, out of college. He's actually my favorite player in the draft. I think he's got the best bat overall. So that'd be my pick with the White Sox. So here we go with the rest of the picks. Number 4 overall, the Marlins. I'm going to go with, they're going to select J.J. Beede, outfielder from Vanderbilt. Number 5th overall, Tigers, C.J. Adams, shortstop from a Georgia high school. 6th overall, the Padres, Riley Green, outfielder from Florida high school. Number 7th overall, Nick Lodolo, left-handed pitcher out of TCU. 8th, the Rangers will go with Jackson Rutledge, a right-handed pitcher from a junior college. Number 9 overall, the Braves are going to pick Hunter Bishop. Hunter Bishop is an outfielder from Arizona State, one of my favorite colleges. Number 10th overall is the Giants with Matthew Allen, right-handed pitcher from Florida High School. Yeah.
Do you remember when we went on spring break with Arizona State students?
Oh yeah, I did. That was in Puerto Penasco, Mexico. That was nice.
And I was like around college age, and you were not, and that was awesome. We had a good time. That was fun. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there.
Well, yeah, we were scouting the Brewers on that trip in Maryville.
Oh, yeah.
We just had a little further south. Due to a recommendation from a great man named Todd. Yeah. So 10th overall, the Giants are going to go with Matthew Allen, right-handed pitcher out of Florida High School. 11th overall, the Blue Jays, I believe, in my mock will take Zach Compton, left-handed pitcher from Kentucky. The Mets are going to go with another college catcher, Shea Langeliers, out of Baylor. Twins with the 13th overall pick, Alek Manoah, right-handed pitcher from West Virginia. The Phillies with Gunnar Henderson, a shortstop from Alabama High School. The Angels with pick 15, Bryson Scott, a shortstop from Scott's neck of the woods from UNLV. 16th overall is the Diamondbacks. Corbin Carroll, I believe they're going to go with. He's an outfielder from Washington State High School. 17th overall is in the Nationals. We'll go with Josh Young, a third baseman from Texas Tech. 18th overall, the Pirates will go with Quinn Priester. He's a right-handed pitcher out of Illinois High School. 19th overall is the Cardinals. George Kirby, right-handed pitcher from college Elon. And let's see, 20th overall, the Mariners are going with Brett Beatty. That's a third baseman from Texas High School. 21st overall, the Braves are going to go with Keone Cavaco. He's a third baseman / shortstop from California High School. The Rays, we're going to go with Logan Davison. He's a shortstop from Clemson. The Rockies, at number 23 overall, will go with Cameron Meisner, outfielder from Missouri. He's someone who's actually fallen in drafts. He was projected to go in the top 10, but he's now fallen down the board as kind of a poor spring. The Indians, one of my favorite high school arms in the draft, they're going to go with Brendan Malone, a right-handed pitcher from Florida High School. He's supposedly going to be a tough sign, but the Indians, I think, will take a chance on him. I think he's got one of the highest ceilings in the draft. Number 25th overall, Dodgers are going to go with Will Wilson, a shortstop from NC State. Number 26, the Diamondbacks have another first-round pick from having their first-rounder, Matt McLean, from last year not signed, so they get 26th overall, and they're going to go with Daniel Espino, right-handed pitcher from Florida High School. The Cubs, boo. at number 27 overall, they're going to go with, I think they're going to go with Cody Hosey, a third baseman from Tulane. And that brings us to
not a big fan of Cody, just for the record.
No, he seems like a Cub to me, but anyway, so it's probably going to be their pick. With that being said, that brings us to the Brewers pick. And I'm going to a couple of guys that they could pick that could be available. I know they like the Toolsy types, and the Toolsy outfielder from Memphis, Tennessee High School named Maurice Hampton, I think could be on their radar. Also, a third baseman out of high school with a really good bat, left-handed bat. That's Tyler Callahan from Florida High School. Then there's a couple of arms, one from college and one from high school I think they could have on the radar, and that's from Campbell College, a right-handed pitcher named Seth Johnson, and from a Texas high school, J.J. Goss, a right-handed pitcher, and that's why I think in the project they're going to take is J.J. Goss, a right-handed pitcher out of high school. Again, he's in my opinion, I think the third or fourth best high school arm, and I don't know. The Brewers draft Tennessee in the past mini drafts have been bats, especially in the first round. But I think they're going against the grain this year and possibly go with a pitcher. I guess what are your overall thoughts on the Brewers draft philosophy or the type of kid that they might target, whether it be a high school or a college kid or an arm or a bat?
Yeah, I don't know that it necessarily matters too much. In terms of where they're playing right now, I just think the best available player at that point in the draft should probably be the guy that the Brewers picked. I mean, we've seen David Stearns, I think, take kind of a different approach each year. I don't know if you can really summarize his draft very easily. He's taken, as you pointed out earlier, Bryce Terang, I think a high school shortstop. He's taken Keston Hira, a college second baseman. So I don't know. I don't think that Stearns necessarily has a specific philosophy with his drafts of history as any indicator.
Well, I don't know.
Do you have any thoughts?
I really think that we're probably going to go with a bat again, and I think it's going to be more than likely the best available bat because, since we don't really have a lot of picks at the top, we really got to hit on this one, and I think you're much more likely to do that when you go with a bat. Could be high school, but I'm leaning toward a college bat just because I think that this could be something that might even wind up, developing into a trade chip if we're still competitive. But, I mean, it seems like if you're looking at a high school bat, odds are they have more upside than most of the college bats in there, at least when you're looking at it in the first round. Actually, Craig, I need your help on this because I didn't see I didn't hear where you put these guys. But if you could help me out, if I just rattle off 3 names that I think we might actually do.
Sure.
Okay, so the first one actually was Josh Young. I think he's going to be gone by then. Where'd you put him?
Yeah, I had him going in my mock draft, I think, a little bit earlier. Yeah, I had him going 17th overall to the Nationals. So that's 11 picks before us or 10 picks. But he could still be available. Like I said, after the top 6 guys, it's probably kind of a crapshoot, so to speak.
Yeah, I think
so. He could very well be available.
I think it's unlikely, but I think that's a possibility. The one I actually think we're most likely. Well, I should just throw this out there too. That Cody Hosey, the guy you had going on the pick right before us, right, to the Cubs.
Yeah.
Typical. Yeah, no, I thought that actually might be a decent fit for us. But the guy I actually think we'll draft, and again, I think this guy is actually slotted to go earlier. Michael Busch, where did you have him? I don't know.
Actually, no, I didn't have him in my top 20. So,
perfect.
Yeah, he should still be on board.
Okay, so I'll throw him out there. He's from North Carolina, first base and outfield. And he's definitely one of the better college hitters. So I think that being that he's a little bit more polished and will be ready a little bit sooner than a high school player, I think that might be our pick.
Yeah. And I kind of agree with Vince also that I think that they're going to go with best player available with a slight leaning toward a bat just because I think with their current overall organizational philosophy is really to find arms that aren't necessarily have high ceilings and they're destined to be aces or complete flame out, but more guys that can pitch 5 to 6 quality innings every time out. And so those are the type of pitchers that you can find probably in the rounds anywhere from, round 2 to, 30 or whatever. Usually out of all those guys you pick in those rounds, you usually get a couple of guys that can at least eat some innings. So it wouldn't surprise me if they continue going hitter, but we'll see. I also really like Tyler Callahan. I mentioned him as one of the players that should still be available there. He's a left-handed hitting high school bat, and I don't know, he plays some good third base, and I like his left-handed bat. So that's one guy I guess I'm hoping they pick, but in my mock I'm going with J.J. Goss as a right-handed pitcher out of high school. So we'll see what happens, I guess. So before you kind of – go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say the other thing, too, is believe it or not, a lot of coaches have a hard time teaching people to throw 98 or more. So I think that might be something also. I mean, it's just if there's an absolute fireballer there, that could hit 98 or more or project to throw that hard, yeah, I could see us going for it.
Yeah. But it seems to me if the Brewers had a tendency, it would be to go bat toward the first couple picks and then in that range of like round 3 to 5, grab a couple of really college arms that kind of have fallen down a little bit or possibly even coming off injury or something. In fact, one of the guys that grabbed in last year's draft, his name Drew Rasmussen, he's really doing well. They're kind of he was injured and missed all of last season, but they got him, I think, in the 5th round last year, and he really now projects as if he would have been like a late first-round pick, and he's doing pretty well in the minors, even though they're having a pitch like in three-inning intervals. So he's still putting up good numbers. I think he's going to kind of be one of those guys like Corbin Burns, who also was like a former 4th-round pick that was, really someone that can fly up the system and help us sooner than later. So we'll see what happens on draft day, but overall there'll be a lot of picks made, and hopefully a lot of guys will be future Brewers, so we'll see. Now, one thing I did want to point out is that baseball is still one of the only sports that don't allow the trading of draft picks, with the one caveat that they did put in there. There are some supplemental picks that have been given by Major League Baseball to teams, especially small market teams, at either the end of the first round or end of the second round, and they randomly change it from one year to the next. And the Brewers this year were awarded supplemental pick number 39 overall after the first round, and they went ahead and did trade that pick, which they're allowed to do this past offseason, for left-handed reliever Alex Claudio from the Rangers. What were your thoughts when that trade was made, and what are your thoughts on it now, I guess, will be the last question I have for this draft preview.
I was supportive of the trade when it was made. I think that, the Brewers are in a position, and they still are in the position of, 2019 being a year that they're quote unquote going for it. So I'm still happy with the trade. I think that Claudio has obviously struggled a little bit this season, but I think there's a chance he's not being used correctly. I think that he's a guy who's probably best fit for being a loogie type of guy who comes in and just faces lefties. He's been used a little bit more against righties than I expected when we acquired him. So I do think you're going to see his numbers stabilize a little bit and go down. I still think he's got some talent. I think he just has to be used in a little bit better situations. And if that's the case, and if we're in win now mode, I think those are the types of moves that are fine to make.
Well, those loogies better figure it out, because they're not going to be around next year, right? I mean, they're not going to be able to just face lefties. They got to face a whole inning, or they got to finish the inning. Isn't that the new rule? Something stupid.
Is that this year? I thought it was next year.
Yeah, no,
this year.
That's what I mean.
Next year, yeah.
Yeah, should be interesting. I don't know. I mean, I think that one of the hidden factors of Claudio is that he is able to throw pretty much every day if you need him to. I mean, he's just about always available, which is great when you're pitching well. But like you said, he has struggled a little bit, but hopefully, he turns it around a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that we have to keep in mind that even though we are contending right now, and that's awesome, and it's okay to use the draft pick that you are allowed to trade, which is rare to try to improve your ball club, which is what they did against Claudia. I didn't really fault them too much at the time. With that being said, it just seems like those types. I just don't think Claudia was that much of a better pitcher than we could have just gotten for a couple $1 million on a 1-year deal off of the free agent market, so to speak, or even that much better than a guy that can just be plucked off the waiver wire, just before the season starts or even during the season. So I guess I'm kind of stalling Claudia a little bit short count-wise, maybe as far as what quality actually is and the value brings to the team. And I'm just kind of giving him a pass on whatever he's done so far this year, just overall, what his value is compared to the pick. And with that being said, there's been some pretty good players picked at number 39 overall. There's been some complete busts, of course, but one guy that was actually picked, or two guys that were picked right at number 39 overall. One of them by the Brewers was Mitch Haniger, who eventually was traded and is now a real solid major leaguer. Another guy I'll throw out there was picked at that slot was Joey Gallo, who's also putting together a pretty nice season for the Rangers and hitting his baseball prime. He'll probably have to be a pretty nice player. Now, if you think about giving up, 6+ years of control over a player like that for just a couple of years of a Moogie-type reliever, that's a chance you take. And obviously there's some risk involved to it, but I feel that I wouldn't have done that trade at the time, and I wouldn't do it again just because I guess someone who really value those draft picks.
I mean, yeah, a guy but a left-handed reliever has got a ton of value to me too. I mean, I think that there's something to be said for the Brewers' pitching philosophy, especially given the fact that we didn't really have many dependable starting pitching options going into the year to go out and get a guy that would solidify your bullpen a little bit. Like we had last year with that lights out bullpen, but we had lost a few guys. So I can definitely see why David Stearns made that move. And, a guy like Gallo, yeah, he's valuable, but we basically had a guy like that in Chris Davis too, right? I mean, he has value, but there's also other guys that we could acquire in that vein too, just like there's other left-handed relievers.
That's all very true, yes. So good, very good point. So anyway, it's always one of my favorite days of the year, baseball draft day, and even though the Brewers aren't picking quite as high, that's a good thing. So still excited about it. It's always great to add new talent to the system and to watch those guys develop. So once again, looking forward to it coming up in just a few days after you're listening to this, most likely. And yeah, hopefully the Brewers pick a future Hall of Famer, whether they're in the first pick or one of them later. Who knows?
Or even if they pick the safe vanilla pick of, a guy who's tabbed to just about assuredly be a number 3 or a number 4 starter, something like a Taylor Youngman or a Jed Bradley. I mean, somebody like that's going to be able to solidify this rotation.
Yes, there's always those types that unfortunately is what it is.
Yeah, man.
But, yeah.
Or Eric Arnett for that matter.
Yeah, no, there's a lot. I mean, I would love to actually just do a whole episode of how terrible our draft. Actually, can we do that? Just a whole episode of the last 30 years of Brewer drafting.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone that would want to listen to it, but I wouldn't. But
With that being said, I really think that they've hit on some really good picks. I mean, obviously, Keston Hiura's up with us now, and he really projects me to be a borderline all-star second baseman going forward. So, I mean, if you're able to land a guy like that every couple of drafts, you're doing well for yourself. So, yeah, especially now that the Brewers are probably going to be picking lower in the first round for hopefully the next foreseeable future. It's still important to have a great scouting department and a great philosophy on trying to find young talent. I think the Brewers have really nice people in place for that. So,
well, yeah, we're definitely doing more coverage than our colleague Tom Wondercourt, that's for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm
not sure how.
I just assume that he'll just, ask the Brewers later. The Brewers will just release a presser through him or something like that. I'm sure he does no actual research in this, but who knows? I mean, if we get a one-on-one with the first round draft pick, I'm sure he'll, stick his microphone in there and get the interview.
He always does such a great job with all that.
Oh, man. Unbelievable.
Awesome. Well, I think you pointed out in the last episode, guys, that I happened to miss, that the Brewers have kind of gotten through their tough early season stretch of games, and I think the team that they play between now and the All-Star break in particular, this stretch of games really is kind of their easiest part of the schedule. Now, with that being said, obviously some of these teams always play us tough, like the Pirates come up and everything, and even so the Twins and everyone who's no one's pushovers. With that being said, I really feel that the Brewers have an opportunity between now and the All-Star break to regain the lead in the NL Central, and I'm excited for the second half of the season. That's for sure. The rest of the season, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say we still got a lot of season left, guys. It's very exciting right now.
Absolutely, and Christian Yelich continues to terrorize the NL and put up MVP-like numbers. So that's pretty phenomenal.
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, well, I think that about wraps it up for this draft preview, and thanks for joining us tonight, guys, and also everyone listening in. Thank you for tuning in, and look forward to our next podcast coming up early next week. So,
sounds great, guys. Stay classy and go Brewers.
Yep. Remember what, fellas? You stay classy and go Brew Crew.
Go Brewers.
Go Brewers. Dun, 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 dun.